All right, so I think we are live today. Welcome, welcome. It's been a while since I have been on Donna Live. So, hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I am Attorney Jamila Little. And today I want to talk to you guys about the Diversity Visa Lottery Program, or the DV Lottery Program. So I'm going to take a couple moments. I literally just posted this, so I know there wasn't a lot of hey, Mr. Gallegos, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Today we're talking about the Diversity Visa Program, or the Greencard Lottery Program. And I'm going to wait for a couple of minutes. I know I literally just posted this on, so people didn't have a lot of notice before. But I want to talk about this because it has been getting a lot of I think notoriety recently, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding it, and there are a lot of changes actually to the 5, and also it is it's the way I got my green card. So for all of you guys out there who are thinking maybe I'll do the DV program, maybe I won't, but it works because I actually went through that program and I know. So, all right. So let's wait for a couple minutes, maybe one more minute, and then we'll get started. All right. Give it a couple more minutes. All right, happy Friday to all you guys out there. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So today we're going to be talking about the Diversity Visa Lottery Program. So it's the correct name really is the Diversity Visa Immigrant Visa Program. The DV program, it's really known as the Visa Lottery, Green Card Lottery, and a lot of people out there know that you can apply every year. And what the program really entails is an opportunity for people who they're from countries that don't have a lot of people coming to the US from these countries. And they have the opportunity because of that to apply for a green card. So the DV program is an annual program that offers up to 55,000 green cards. So when you look at it in terms of the amount of people that are applying, yes, there is a small chance, but it is one, free, and two, if you are from one of these countries, and we'll talk a little bit about the countries, we'll go through the list of countries that actually can apply, or I'll talk about the countries that can't apply. That might be a little bit better. And if you are from one of these countries that can apply, you actually have a chance to get your green card, right? So each year, like I said, the United States gives away, basically it's a giveaway, 55,000 green cards. Okay. The 2024 process is already on the way, so that you would not be able to apply for at this point in time. So 2024 opened up in October 2022 and it closed in November 2022. So if this is something that you think you might be interested in applying for, the program for 2025 opened up on October 4th of this year, and it's going to close in a couple days on November 7th. So if you're thinking about applying, do so before November 7th. The applications you can actually find at the Department of State website online. So it's going to be an online electronic application. All right, so just want to put a bit of a tidbit out there. Remember, if you apply for the DV lottery program, just do one application. If you do more than one application, they are going to disqualify you from being in the runnings. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the actual eligibility requirements for the program. And I also want to share a little bit about my story, because like I said in the beginning, this is actually how I got my green card. So I was one of 55,000 people. This was a while back. I want to say this was back in 2010 or around that time. So I was, one of these 55,000 people who got their green card through the diversity visa lottery program, and was able to become a green card holder that way. So I want to talk a little bit about my story, but let me give you guys a little more information about the program and go through some of the eligibility. So like I said, for the next upcoming program 2025, the applications are already open and they're going to be closed on November 7th. So make sure that you can get your application in there. All right, so let's get started on the eligibility. So like I said, the Department of State annually administers this diversity visa program. 55,000 visas will be available for the 2025 visa program. Like I said before, it's free, so there's no cost to you for your green card. And if you think about it, let's say you are doing an adjustment of status here in the United States, you can look at USCIS fees of about $17.60. So just think about it. The diversity visa program is free. You don't have anything to lose, right? So it's free of cost, like I said. Applicants who are selected for the program must meet certain eligibility requirements. So you have to be admissible to the United States in order to get the green card through this program. What happens is once you do your application, they will select, and they say it's a lottery system, right? So once you actually do your application, they will select a certain number of people. Typically, it's more than the 55,000 because some people will not be eligible. So I want to answer a quick question as they come in. My dream, ask, can anyone apply? So the answer is yes, but, right? So there always is some conditions. There are some countries, and I will go through the countries that are basically oversubscribed. There are a certain amount of people who have already come to the US from those countries, and they will not be able to apply. So I'll go through those countries so you'll know who is actually eligible. All right, so I mentioned that you have to be admissible to the United States and the countries. So let's hop into the countries that are not eligible. And this is because more than 50,000 people from these countries would have immigrated to the United States in the previous 5 years. And so, unfortunately, these countries are not eligible. So, the countries that are not eligible are Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, including mainland and Hong Kong, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras. I know it's a list. India, Jamaica, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines, the Republic of Korea, South Korea, Venezuela, and Vietnam. So just to make a little bit of a insert right here, natives of Taiwan are eligible. So if you're from Taiwan, you are eligible. So that is a list of the countries that aren't eligible. So to answer your question, if you are not from one of those countries, yes, you are eligible to apply. I want to go through a little bit more of the eligibility criteria. And let's say you are, let me give you a scenario. So let's say you are from one of those countries that may not be eligible, but maybe your spouse, because these diversity visa programs, remember, this is a green card. So your spouse and your minor children can be included, right? So if you, well, once you are approved, right? So if you maybe from one country that is not eligible, but your spouse is from another country that is eligible, your spouse can actually apply, and then that way you can get into it. Okay. So some more criteria. Each DV applicant must meet the education and work experience requirement for the DV program. So you have to have at least a high school education or equivalent. And this is defined as successful completion of a 12-year course of formal elementary and secondary education. So you have to have at least high school or 2 years of work experience within the past 5 years in an occupation that requires at least 2 years of training. So high school equivalent or 2 years of work in the past 5 years. Okay. Again, the period of time that you would have to submit to get into the 2025 would be anytime between now and the 7th of November this year. All right. And then it's online. You can go to the Department of State, go to their website, and you can find that application. So I want to just kind of give you guys a little bit about my experience, and make sure you complete the application fully. Okay. Make sure that you don't leave any blanks, because you want to have you don't want to have your application rejected. So make sure you complete the application in full and send it in by the deadline, and follow all of the requirements in terms of the photo, the electronic photo that you have to upload, and all the other instructions. It's right there on the Department of State website. So like I told you guys before, the DV lottery is actually the way that I became a green card holder, the way that I got my green card. And it was back, like I can't remember the exact year. I think it was 2011, somewhere around there, when I applied. So they've actually changed a few things up. One of the things that they've changed is I remember getting notified by mail. So I got this letter that came to my house after I applied. And honestly, I did not think that I was going to be chosen because, like I said, this is 50 to 55,000 green cards. And there are literally millions of people from all around the world that apply. So I honestly did not think I was going to get this. I wasn't checking, wasn't looking, but I did get a letter that came to my house, and I thought it was like, I thought it was a scam. I actually thought it was a scam. So I'm reading this letter, and it's basically telling me that I have been selected and giving me next steps as to what to do. Now, remember, they've changed this. So if you're getting into the 2025 DV program, you actually would be able to go online. I think they're actually going to notify online. You would have to check online to see if your application was actually chosen and get next steps. But back when I did it, back, like I said, 2010-ish, 2011, around there, they would notify applicants via mail, so snail mail, right? So I got my my approval, and I really thought it was a scam. I had to actually call in and follow up and figure out how to verify that that it was actually real. So it turned out to be real. Thank you, Jesus. I was about to get a green card because at that point in time, I was a law school student, and y'all know law school is expensive. So I was going through law school as an international student. So that is super duper expensive, paying out of state tuition. But now I was getting the opportunity to actually get my green card. So a couple of things that pertain to me that may or may not pertain to your situation. So I was already in the US. So I had a choice to make, right? I was in the US, I was studying. So, you know, I had my status was fine. There was nothing wrong with my status. So I had a choice to make. I was either going to adjust my status in the US, or I was going to go back to Trinidad, where I'm from. And again, Trinidad is one of those countries where we probably have about 1 point something million people. So we don't have like a huge migration rate to the United States. So again, we are one of those countries where if you are from Trinidad and you're out there and you're thinking about doing it, nothing to lose again. So I got the letter, and I'm trying to decide, okay, am I going to do adjust my status here in the United States, or will I do consular processing and go back to Trinidad and consular process? And that's a question that you're going to, if you are outside the United States, obviously you're going to go do consular processing, right? But if you are here, and you are in status and you can adjust your status, that's something that you may want to think of, right? The other thing that comes up is, what if you are here out of status, right? That's a topic for another time. But I decided, I looked at the time frame. I looked at, okay, how long is it going to take me to adjust my status versus if I were to do consular processing? And at that point in time, it was a lot shorter for me to go back home to Trinidad and consular process. So that's what I actually ended up doing. I decided to consular process. So I went back and went through the process of going to my interview at the embassy in Port of Spain and got the process going that way. I had to do everything there. I did my medical. I did all of the consular processing steps back home in Trinidad and Tobago, just because like I said, the adjustment period for doing it here in the US would have taken a little bit longer. So that's something, if you are a DV lottery winner, that's something that you will have to think about as well. And then the process was pretty seamless. Once I completed my interview, I got my stamp and my passport. So someday I'm actually gonna see if I could bring that old passport so you guys can see what that stamp looks like. So I was able to get my stamp and my passport, came back started school again. My green card was mailed to me, and I think the rest is history. So one day I'm actually going to take some more time and give you guys the entire story as to why I even applied for the green card lottery. So there's a story behind it. So for all of you guys out there, either watching right now or we'll look at this a little bit later on, consider applying for the green card lottery. If you are thinking about getting your green card, then this process is pretty straightforward. It's seamless. There are some qualification steps that you have to make sure that you actually qualify for and that you're eligible for it. I went through those before. And like I said, you can go to the Department of State for the entire list of requirements. And if you are chosen, it's an easy way to get a green card. It's free. There are some fees that you pay once you are selected, but initially the application costs you nothing. So if that's something that you are looking for, if you're looking to get your green card, consider getting the application done before November 7th, which is coming up in a couple days. All right, guys, so that is all I have for you. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat below this video, and I will try to be on a little bit more often to do some more lives. If you do have comments, or if you do need to reach me, my telephone number is there on the screen. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.